Hello and welcome, my global business maestros. This is the Business English Podcast, your go-to platform for scaling the towering skyscrapers of professional English. I'm your host, Rob, coming to you through the digital airwaves, armed with words, syntax, and a healthy dash of corporate jargon. We're diving headfirst into another episode today where we continue our quest to empower non-native professionals like yourselves to master the nuanced realm of business English. Now, onto our current journey. Prepare yourselves as we navigate the winding roads of quantifiers. Quantifiers, you ask? Aren't they pesky little words we sprinkle throughout our sentences? Indeed they are. But oh, they are so much more than that. Quantifiers are the unsung heroes of effective communication, providing valuable detail to our conversations, particularly in a business setting. These mighty words tell us how many or how much of something we have. They help in painting a clearer, more precise picture, ensuring our listeners are right on the same page as us. Yet, the mastery of these tiny linguistic powerhouses remains a well-guarded secret known only to a few. Today, we're going to crack open that secret, equipping you with several tips that all professionals need to know. Now, by the end of this episode, you'll be quantifying like a pro. So, buckle up, folks. It's time to add another powerful tool to our communication arsenal. Let's plunge into the fascinating world of quantifiers in business English. DJ, please. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Business English Podcast, helping professionals communicate more effectively, more confidently, and with impact. With your host, Rob, from Energetic English. Let's get down to business. The mysterious world of quantifiers. It's a land often unexplored by many, not for the lack of curiosity, but because we often underestimate their power in our daily discourse. So why are quantifiers such a big deal, especially in business English? Let's unfold this enigma together. Imagine you're in a meeting presenting your monthly report. You say, "Our profits have increased." Well, that's great news, isn't it? But how much of an increase are we talking about here? Have they increased by a tiny bit, a moderate amount, or have they skyrocketed? That's where our little linguistic champions, the quantifiers, spring into action. With quantifiers, we could say, "Our profits have increased a lot," or "We have seen plenty of increase in our profits." Now that sounds far more precise and informative, doesn't it? In the business world, the devil is in the details, as they say, and quantifiers help us convey those essential details with clarity and confidence. But alas, every hero has its Achilles heel, and for quantifiers, it's misuse and misunderstanding. Have you ever said, "We have less clients this month," when you actually meant, "We have fewer clients this month"? Fret not. These common slip-ups happen to the best of us. That's because in our everyday chatter, these inaccuracies go unnoticed. But in a professional setting, they stick out like a sore thumb. Now, don't let the fear of making mistakes deter you, though. Just as kites rise against the wind, we too rise against challenges. Remember, today's mistakes are the stepping stones for tomorrow's mastery. So, gear up, my brave linguistic explorers, as we're about to dive deeper into the world of quantifiers, starting from the basics and moving towards conquering the advanced realm. Okay, are you ready to take a deep dive into the sea of quantifiers? Now, first things first, let's get to know our stars of the show a little better. Quantifiers are words or phrases that we use before a noun to express the amount or quantity. It could be exact or vague. It could refer to something countable or uncountable. These are the versatile maestros that give more depth and detail to our sentences. Take, for instance, the word many. If you're swamped at work, you might say, I have many tasks to complete. Many is a quantifier showing that the number of tasks isn't just one or two, but more than that. Another example is the word much. This quantifier typically shows up with uncountable nouns, like in the sentence, we don't have much time before the meeting starts. Okay, now let's turn our spotlight to several and few, shall we? When you're scheduling a meeting, you might say, we have several time slots available. That means there are more than just a couple of options, but not a huge number. On the other hand, when you say there are a few key points to discuss, few tells us that there aren't that many points to be discussed, but they're important enough to be mentioned. And then, of course, we have the superstar, a lot of, which comfortably hangs out with both countable and uncountable nouns. If your inbox is overflowing, you might say, I have a lot of emails to respond to. Or, alternatively, we received a lot of great feedback about the conference. Do you see how these little linguistic champions make our sentences more meaningful? Now it's your turn. Try using these quantifiers in your sentences. And don't worry about perfection. It's all about practicing and improving. Great, that's the first part done, but our linguistic journey is far from over. It's time to step into the grand halls of advanced quantifiers. Trust me, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. You see, with these, you can articulate your ideas more explicitly and accurately. No more stumbling around vague expressions. Let's meet some of these advanced players, shall we? A large number of, for instance, is like the older, more sophisticated cousin of many. You might use it in a business context to say, a large number of employees have signed up for the workshop. This gives the impression of an impressive turnout without pinning down an exact number. Similarly, a small number of gives a touch of elegance to the simple few. So instead of saying few clients have raised this issue, you could say a small number of clients have raised this issue. Next up, we have numerous. Now this is a true aristocrat among quantifiers. Numerous adds an element of abundance to your sentences. So instead of saying, we have many new products, you could say, we have numerous new products. And then we have the majority of, the quantifier equivalent of a sharp business suit. It signifies more than half of a quantity. For example, the majority of our customers prefer online shopping. Now, these quantifiers add a layer of sophistication to your language and showcase your proficiency in English. But remember, my fellow quantifier adventurers, they're tools, not rules. Use them when they make your message clearer, not just for the sake of using them. So let's have a go at using them and bring these quantifiers to life. Now, before jumping into the next section, I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that if you wanted to get more out of the Business English podcast, then that is possible. For example, full transcripts complete with timestamps so you never miss an expression, phrase-focused one-pagers to quickly refresh your memory before that next last-minute meeting, pronunciation support to assist with the trickier elements of business English, live read-along transcripts, quizzes, and much more. If this sounds like it could be useful, then the Business English Podcast Premium subscription could be for you. Check out the details at the link in the show notes. Right, on with the show. Alright folks, it's now time to put these quantifiers to work. But remember, just as you wouldn't use a hammer to fix a light bulb, you need to choose the right quantifier for the right context. Don't worry, I'm here to share some handy tips and tricks to guide you on this path of linguistic excellence. So, tip number 1, few versus a few. Though they are strikingly similar, there's a world of difference between these two. Few implies scarcity. For instance, if you say, few employees attended the training, it paints a picture of an almost empty room, tumbleweed. On the other hand, a few suggests a small but noteworthy number. So, a few employees attended the training means the attendance was low but not dismal. Subtle, isn't it? That's the magic of quantifiers. Okay, so tip number 2, much versus many. Here's the rule of thumb. Much is used with uncountable nouns and many is used with countable ones. So you would say, we have much enthusiasm but many challenges to overcome. Tip number 3, numerous and a large number of are not always interchangeable. Numerous is an adjective, while a large number of is a quantifier phrase. So while you can say we have numerous challenges, saying we have a large number of challenges is more appropriate in formal business English. Remember, these tips are not just for trivia. They're here to help you communicate with clarity, precision, and style. The English language is a vast ocean, and quantifiers are the compass guiding us through the rough waves of miscommunication. It's okay to make mistakes and correct them. That's how we learn. And there we have it. We have just unlocked the mighty world of quantifiers. We've not just scratched the surface either, but we've dug deeper into the realm of several, a few, numerous, a large number of, and so much more. As we wrap up, remember quantifiers aren't just about showing quantity. They're about precision, they're about detail, and most importantly, they're about clear communication, the bedrock of every successful business. So the next time you find yourself in a business meeting, a presentation, or even just a casual conversation, remember your quantifiers. They're here to help you articulate your thoughts better, to sound more professional, and to make a mark with your proficient business English skills. It's been an absolute pleasure to guide you through this lesson. I can't wait to join you in the next episode of the Business English Podcast, where we'll continue to decode, demystify, and master the many nuances of business English. Until then, keep it strictly business. You have been listening to the Business English Podcast. Remember to subscribe, leave a review, and we'll see you next time.